Hello, my name is Annette Gonzalez, Chief Academic Officer of Green Dot Public Schools, and today I'm going to be walking you through Green Dot's distance learning grading policy for 2021. The objective is for students and families to understand Green Dot's grading policy in order to help them be successful in the upcoming school year. If you were here last year, you know that in the spring of 2020, Green Dot held students harmless for their outcomes in quarter four. While this decision was appropriate at the time, Green Dot's commitment to our mission of ensuring students graduate prepared for college leadership and life has prompted us to reevaluate our original grading policy. Green Dot Public Schools believes in meaningful grading practices consistent across grade levels, content areas, and schools. Our updated grading policy is built to provide students and parents with clear, meaningful feedback on the degree to which students have mastered academic skills and learning targets using a common language. The key takeaway is that students will receive a letter grade in each of their classes that reflects the mastery of content and work completed. Today, we will walk you through these key components of our grading policy, beginning with our platform. All of Green Dot's 19 schools use PowerSchool for grading and communication with parents and students. It is important that students and parents keep track of their students' grades throughout distance learning. Students and parents should log into PowerSchool weekly to review graded assignments. PowerSchool may look a little different this year because in an effort to streamline the experience for all 19 schools, we have made some adjustments to how teachers will be grading student work. These adjustments begin with assignment categories and weights. First, it's important to understand that all student work shall fall into one of four categories: classwork and practice, formative assessments, summative assessments, and academic preparation. The weight of each of these categories is seen in the chart. In a typical year, summative assessments, which are end of unit or end of semester assessments, may have had a 50 to 60% impact on a final grade. However, given the parameters of distance learning, we felt it was important to value classwork and practice at 20%, formative assessment at 30%, and academic preparation at 10%. In most classes, students will have assignments in all four categories. However, there are some classes with 2 to 3 assignment category types. In these cases, the weights of each category are proportionately increased as seen in the chart on your screen. Academic preparation is a new category introduced this year. Academic preparation is time in a student's schedule where they complete asynchronous assignments, typically assignments assigned at the end of the class period. This time is similar to a study hall, and the work there done is similar to homework. The assignments in academic preparation will help a student understand the content and extend their learning from the day's lesson. Work done during this class period will be graded and worth 10%. It is not optional. If you are unsure what category an assignment falls into, you can click on View Details. Here you can see that the category is listed between the date and the assignment name in your PowerSchool screen. Next, we will talk about the grading scale for assignments. During distance learning, every assignment will be out of 4 points. Students can receive a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 on each assignment. Hopefully, this approach simplifies the process of analyzing PowerSchool for multiple classes. While some of Green Dot schools were already using a grading scale similar to this, many were not. And it's different to what students and families may be used to. It's important to spend some time digging into the quality of work and student performance descriptions that are aligned to each number. For instance, scoring a 3 means that the student has proficient understanding and their work consistently meets target or standard, that they produce quality work that demonstrates understanding of the majority of the standard, even if it has some errors. In grading like this, teachers aren't necessarily going to count how many correct answers a student got out of a total number of questions. They're going to determine what meeting the target or exceeding the target or nearly meeting the target looks like for a specific assignment, and should be communicating that in advance to their students using a rubric or checklist. Now that you know how assignments will be graded, it's important to discuss how final grades will be determined. All classes, including advisory, will receive a letter grade based on the 4-point scale. Students will receive an A through F letter grade based on the final scores earned in each category: formative assessment, summative assessment, classwork and practice, and academic preparation. Semester letter grades will be determined using the following scale. In order to do well in school, parents and students need to actively access their grades and track their progress. Green Dot has made a commitment to students and families around the frequency of assignments and communication. We will be proactive and transparent about grading, especially during distance learning. Each day, teachers will assign student work from one or more of these categories: classwork and practice, formative assessment, and summative assessment. A minimum of 2 assignments per class will be graded each week on a 0 to 4 scale. Teachers will enter these grades up until the unit assessment. Academic preparation assignments provide an opportunity for students to practice what they have learned in the classroom. Each academic prep assignment, 2 to 3 per week, will be graded with either full points, a 4, or no points, a 0, for credit. Teachers will enter these grades within 1 week of submission. Next, we will discuss grade communication. While students' grades shall be updated in time for the following progress reports and report cards to be sent home or emailed, it is important that students and their families check PowerSchool frequently to ensure that students do not fall behind in their classes. Your school will provide you with guidance on how to log into PowerSchool and check your students' grades. Now let's discuss late work and grade improvement. Green Dot believes that students should be given multiple opportunities to meet the target and understand standards in their classes. To that end, our grading policy allows for students to turn in late or missing assignments as well as correct their mistakes. It's important to understand this policy as it relates to each of these categories. For classwork and practice, students will have the opportunity to turn in late work or missing assignments, as well as the opportunity to correct or redo an assignment for a proficient or advanced grade up until the summative unit assessment. This is also true of academic preparation assignments. For formative assessments, students should have multiple opportunities to demonstrate mastery. They may be required to participate in a reteach or office hour session prior to accessing the next opportunity to demonstrate mastery. Teachers should provide support to students prior to the retake to ensure student success. And finally, a summative assessment. Students shall have an opportunity to improve their summative assessment score by retaking or correcting portions of the same assessment or a similar assessment. This typically happens within 1 week of the unit summative assessment, as long as the end of the semester does not prevent a retake. Let's take a minute to discuss academic dishonesty. In the Student Policy Manual, Section C 3.0, academic dishonesty in a course will be addressed through progressive discipline based on the seriousness of the offense. Appropriate interventions or consequences may be assigned, including a parent conference or discipline review board meeting to address such infractions. We want to emphasize to all students that it is important in a distance learning setting that all work submitted is their own. Lastly, we will discuss accommodations and modifications for students with IEPs or 504s. All students with disabilities receiving special education services through an IEP will be able to access the accommodations and modifications included in their IEP to the fullest extent possible. Many common accommodations, such as extended time and test corrections, apply to all students in distance learning, including those with an IEP. That said, special education teachers will work with small groups of students and their teachers to ensure that accommodations and modifications are fairly provided and accessed. All students receiving accommodations and supports through a 504 plan will be able to access their accommodations to the fullest extent possible. General education teachers will be working with the 504 designee at each school site to ensure these accommodations are fairly provided and accessed. We want to thank you for listening to the overview of our distance learning policy and encourage you to contact your school site administrator with any questions. Thank you.